Hey everybody, Scott Wilson, bass player for the band Tantric, saying hi. Thanks so much to Seven Virtues Entertainment and Music and Media Collective Alliance for reaching out to me to speak to you folks. Huge honor, really wish I could be there. Unfortunately, I am currently in the studio recording a band called Emperors and Elephants. Some of the things, in the past, we did just recently American Head Charge. We've done, tons of records all over. I've worked with so many different people and so many great musicians all over the country. Robbie Rodriguez, thank you so much for being the spokesperson for your organization and reaching out to me, saying hey, and giving us this opportunity to unite, even if it is by video. So essentially what Robbie has talked to me about is letting people know what it takes, and why things are so important and why there's all these steps to not only making a record, but the steps after the record is made to go out there and promote yourself. What's the right combination? What do you do to be able to tour and hopefully make a living at this art that we call music? Essentially, what I tell people that come to me, they say, how do I make a record? How do I do this? How do I break into this industry? The first thing I always say to people is, number one, make sure you're ready to sacrifice, to be away from home, to be away from your familiarity of your own little world. Make sure you're prepared for that, and to sacrifice anything you need to, which is put it all out there on the line. You really just have to be able to just make that your 1,000,000%. If you can make that sacrifice, the second step to me is to find a recording studio, find a producer, not just an engineer, to be able to help you arrange your music, help you put the sprinkles on top to make the icing not only taste good to you, but look good to everybody. So the producer essentially handles your budget, helps arrange the music and compose, helps any auxiliary musicians that you may need, gets those for you, along with the studio staff, and then works cohesively with the engineer to capture your best essence and the best parts of your musicianship or your art. Once you've found that producer and that engineer in the studio that makes the sound that you like, you figure out your budget, you work it in there, and you make the best product that you can possibly make. All of these record labels and all of the industry people that are associates of mine talk a lot over dinner and just in meetings about how bad of quality products they receive all the time. The record label wants a finished product from you, and they want something they don't have to invest much money in to make it exactly what you hear on the radio. So the very best product that you can make is so important. Not to mention, it's your time stamp for this period in time in your career. This is where you're at musically, so you want to capture that the best way you can. So that 20 years from now or 10 years from now, you look back and go, this is where I was, and that really represents where I was at that time. If you try to do things, on your own, and there's nothing wrong with doing, records at home and doing your demo and your pre-production work, you may not capture the very best of you because you're doing it yourself. If you have an outside source saying, hey man, this is what I hear, this is your best part, and it helps you get into that commercial mode as well. So it's important to do that. And then once that's done, you get the great, wonderful life of finding ways to promote your music, which is touring, your YouTube channel, internet promotion, There are a million things that you have to do in this industry today because the spectrum of communication is so broad. You have to reach out to a million avenues in order to capture all of that and get out to bigger audiences and different audiences. You know, the other philosophy, of course, is you buy onto a tour with a well-known act so that you're reaching out to people that you couldn't get to your own shows. If you're on the West Coast and you're touring the East Coast, of course, nobody knows who you are. These people, you buy onto a tour and you have a new audience. So you just keep spreading the word essentially after that. You know, everyone always asks me, do I need a record label? Distribution is very important to be able to have your music not only on iTunes and Reverb Nation and all these sort of things that everyone does. You also need to be able to get your record into stores and any other hub that someone can see it and buy it. The most important thing as far as the money side of it to me is when you're touring is of course merchandise and having a huge selection of merchandise. That helps, you know, keep the wheels rolling on the van or the bus or whatever you're touring in, or the airplane, is the merchandise, because that's your big profit margin. And also it builds your brand recognition, so people constantly see shirts walking down the street with your logo on it. People get curious. They can reach out on the internet now and just grab your Facebook, listen to your tunes. Who knows, you may have made a new fan. So like I said before, a million avenues. How to break into being a producer, how to break into being a studio engineer, it's another frequent question. To me, I started when I was 14 years old. I luckily had this friend who was 8 years older than me, who took me under his wing, and I didn't really realize at the time he was taking me under his wing. He was more or less just my buddy. This guy's cool, he's got long hair, he's a rock star. So it was awesome for me as a kid just to hang out with this guy. Little did I know that he was shaping me into a career path. I had no idea. He probably had no idea. He was just sharing his knowledge and saying, hey man, you know, this is what I do here and this is what I do there. You want to help me with this sound project, or you want to help me with this live project, whatever he was doing. So school is important. I love, you know, getting to students out there, and I try to speak as much publicly as I can at music industry type of features at colleges, at high schools, things like that, to where kids know a direction to go if they want to be in the music industry. If you want to be an engineer or you want to be a producer, as a producer you need to know a lot of music theory. You need to know a lot about, you know, harmony parts, guitar parts, first, third, fifth, sixth, sevenths, ninths, added twelfths. All of the crazy stuff. It's not just about having a good ear or thinking that. You need the school behind it, the knowledge, to be able to tell a guitar player, hey, that added ninth you had there, I would love for you to make it a sixth or whatever part, or the seventh, so that maybe vocally later you can add that harmony part with that guitar and it's cohesive. So knowledge, music knowledge, any type of music knowledge you can get is so important. That starts, of course, with high school band and just absorbing anything musical you can. Your hobby should be listening to music. You know, not just playing it, but listen to what other people do, the people that already make a living at this. I constantly turn on the radio to different stations that I typically listen to, and different kinds of music, to hear the production, not just the music styling. Hear how they place the guitar in the mix, how they place the lead or the fill or the harmony part, or even the vocal, how round and what frequencies they're using. And everybody's different. There's so many flavors. So it's good to absorb as many of those as you can. After music education, of course, You need to know how to work the computer programs, how signal flow works, how to capture things with microphones. A great way to learn all that is an internship after education, or even, you know, some of these schools out there, Full Sail, Lexington School of the Recording Arts, these bigger schools that you know, put their focus on AV and even just studio engineering. You can learn a lot from there, but really all that is to set you in the direction of the career to where you can keep learning. And we're all still learning in this industry. I'm sure so many of you people out there that do this all the time, or even the guys that do it part-time, know you're constantly not only evolving with the software that you use, but you're constantly evolving your own head, because music changes, or you stepped into jazz and you've never been there before, so you're learning how to capture that, or you're learning how to play that. So we're always learning. The great thing is kind of once you get your niche, and if you specialize in that niche, you can be really good at that particular area that you're strong in. I love working with different engineers. I love working with different musicians, because you always take a little something away from everybody. And you know, so that's starting out in the industry. That's kind of where I feel you should go, in my opinion. You know, I've been fortunate that when I lived in Kentucky at an early age, it's close to Nashville, so I had a lot of friends who were road players for all these big country acts, and so I got pulled into this with a lot of already experts. So I learned from really knowledgeable people in the beginning, and you know, that was a very fortunate and lucky thing for me, to be able to do that. Some of you people I know don't live anywhere near music, and other than your local scene, and the cool part about that is the cookie cutter pattern hasn't been laid for you, so you can absorb from what you have there and then expand out to what Nashville sound is, to what LA sound is, to what New York studios sound like. They are kind of different, in a different vein, but they all have their similarities. So you pull music from anybody. The thing that I want to mention too is relationships. And these people that you meet, you never know who they are. You never have a clue that may be the guy that hires you to play on this next session that he does, or that guy is vice president of X record label now, or that guy is the new booking agent for so-and-so agency that you need to book your band. So it's very important to stay humble, to absorb from everybody you meet. It's important to associate yourself with as many musical people, and even just music fans, and talk to them as much as you can, and learn. Just keep learning from this crazy industry that is changing constantly. So many things we could sit here and talk about for days. I wish I was there where I could talk to you guys and shake your hand and you know, get to know you. But thank you so much for attending this this mixer, where people from all over around your area and different genres and audio, video, production, all of you guys gathering in one place it's huge. So hang out with everybody, talk to everybody, get to know people. Those relationships last forever. 10 years from now, that guy that you met at the place that you're at right now could change your life or your career path. So always keep good relations with people, and stay humble, and remember what you came from and when you started and why you started this thing. It's because of the love of music. So I want to end with that. That's essentially what all of this is for. Why we tour, why I work in a recording studio, why I picked up an instrument was because I can affect people's lives with my art. And every time I get to meet people that tell me, hey man, that song really touched me, or that band that you recorded, I really love this song, it got me through a hard spot, or I woke up in the morning and I keep singing it and I'm laughing because it's a great song. That's why we do it. But it starts with your love of music. So keep that in mind. Thank you so much, Robbie. Thank you so much for reaching out to me, and I hope to see you guys soon. Tantric's new record will be out sometime, hopefully in the summer this year. So we'll resume our crazy, monotonous touring, and hopefully I'll get to see you guys at some of my shows. So thanks so much, and take care.